Hello and welcome to CodeLad. I'm Ali, and this is the 8th tutorial for HTML series. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about forms. Now, many of you have already seen forms on different websites like questionnaire form or voting form, etc. So let me show you how to do that. Head over to Sublime Text, and we're going to start from the form tag. So define a form tag, an opening and closing tag, and in between these tags we're gonna write the most important element of form tag, which is input tag. This input tag is a self-closing tag, and in this tag we're gonna define an attribute of type. So the input tag will know that what type of box we need to create, and this input tag will create a box in which we will add the information we want to send through the form. So in here I'm gonna write the most basic type, which is text. In this type of input tag we can write numbers, letters or symbols, anything. So I'm gonna just make it a little more interesting so you can understand. First name, add a BR, and copy this. Actually I should add a BR over here also. Copy this, Control C V, and just write last over here, save it, go to the file and open it with a browser. So as you can see, this is the first name and this is the input box which is created by the tag input. We can write anything in here like name and we can send it, but something is missing over here. What is it? We do not have a submit button to send the information through the form. So to do that, we are going to, sorry, wrong direction. Here we are going to add a button. So we're going to define an input tag, and we're, sorry, spelling right wrong, input type. The type will be button, and in the type in this tag we're going to define another attribute of value, and in the value we're going to write, sorry, submit. I'm gonna save it, go over here, refresh, and this is your submit button. Now this form will not work until it is connected with the backend of PHP or JavaScript, which we are not gonna do today. I'm just teaching you how to make the design of the form. The backend will be taught in other tutorials of JavaScript or PHP. Now there are many other types of input tag. We can add a type of, let's say, radio tag. I'm gonna cover the most important types today, but there are like I guess 20 to 30 types. You have to learn them all by myself. So I'm gonna write type radio, and in here we will define a new very attribute of name. What this attribute will do is it will make this input tag a unique one, and it can be easily recognized by this name. For example, I'm gonna write gender, and over here I'm gonna write male, and copy this, paste it over here, and we are gonna add the name to all the radio tags we want for gender. For example, I want 3 of them over here. Sorry, no, copy it and paste it. Sorry about that. Female and unspecified. I hope the spellings are right. Okay, so as you can see, I use the name gender for all 3 of them because we have to make the backend recognize how to get the value from these tags. So it will just access the name. It will see that all the 3 tags have name gender, which mean I have to select only one of them. Okay, I'm gonna save it. Actually, I'm gonna first add some br equals, sorry, save it now. You can see now I can select any one of them. Now I'm going to refresh it. As you can see, there is no one checked when the page is loaded. You can also fix that by going over here and write checked without any equal to sign or the double quotes, just the word checked, and now the female will be already checked. See, we can also create drop down menus, and to do that we're gonna go over here and write select, and in opening and closing tag. In here we're gonna write option, and in option we are gonna write our options. For example, let's say I'm gonna say for occupations, doctor and engineer. I think the spellings are wrong, as I always get them wrong for engineer, and something else, blah. No, nothing is coming in my mind. Refresh it, and here's your drop down, doctor, engineer, and blah. And as you can see, when we load the page, it will be the doctor one which will be selected, but we can change that by going to say engineer one option and write selected without the equal to or the double quotes. Go over here, refresh it, and the engineer is already selected. Another thing is text area. For example, if you want someone's feedback, you cannot get that in the type input type text because it is a small box and it cannot create a paragraph. So for us to get a paragraph from the user, we need to define a text area. So I'm gonna go over here, write text area, opening and closing tag, and that's just it. You can add rows and columns like how big it should be. I'm gonna write rows of 10 and columns say 50. Save it, and I'm gonna add some BRs over here so it will be properly displayed. Okay, save it, go here, refresh. You can see this is the text area. I can write paragraphs in it like this, and even the user can make it bigger or smaller like this. It can make it big, but it cannot go smaller than the size you defined. Another thing is checkbox. You can add checkboxes. You can write input type checkbox, and as in radio buttons you have to add name. You also have to add the same name to all the checkboxes. So I'm gonna write let's say sub, as in subscription, as standard, or well, checkboxes don't really go for subscription, but I'm gonna just write it anyway. Who cares, right? And premium. Save it, go left, refresh, and here are your checkboxes. So, and the last thing is button tag. Now, in place of this input type button, we can write button tag like this button, opening and closing tag, and in between here we can write submit. This is a new tag defined in the HTML5. This input type submit is from older HTML. I can make this comment for now. Let's save it, refresh, and here's the submit button. It looks exactly the same, just the coding is different. Now, one last thing I have to tell you is an attribute of placeholder. Now I can write name over here, save it. You can see I'm adding a placeholder of name in the first name input box. I'm going to refresh it, and as you can see, there's a light name written in the first box. And when I click it and write something, it will automatically disappear. It's like showing us where to write the name if we don't want to use this first name tag. Okay, so this is it for today, guys. Tomorrow we're gonna take a look on how to add audio and video. So practice this, and if you have any trouble, just ask me in the comment section, like the video and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.